and tonight's combatants are two sides with very similar tales of regret. 2 years ago, Perth roared to the top of the Ninja A-League. They were second at the halfway point of the season. Many thought their finals drought would end, but it didn't. 12 months later, Brisbane Roar. They followed a similar path. Second at the halfway point, their finals drought would also go on. So after an opening round win tonight, Roar and Glory have a shot at back-to-back victories to begin the season as they set their sights on banishing the ghosts of seasons past. One change for the Glory after their first away victory in 18 months. Stephen Peters has reshuffled his side, so O'Donoghue starts in favour of Ponsong Cam, who is benched. Holler, who scored a double last week, leads the line, while Julia Sardo has recovered after rolling her ankle during the week and passing through training yesterday unscathed. Backup keeper Jess Skinner has recovered from the flu and is on the bench. Well, Grace Johnson, she has played a significant part already this season for Perth Glory. Had a massive role to play in the first goal scored by Gabby Holler, and then grabbed the assist for Rolla Badawia's debut goal. Coach Stephen Peters said he doesn't know how long they'll be able to keep her, but she is contracted to Perth until 2028. So expect a fair bit of cash if an overseas club comes in for the very talented 20-year-old. Brisbane Roar also, their boss Alex Smith making the one change from their opening round win over Melbourne Victory. So Kaya Stevenson starts her first Ninja A-League match since March 2024 after recovering from an ACL injury. So Zara Kruger drops to the bench. Goal scorers from last week, Jansen and Fryer both start, while Tamika Yallop remains on the bench. After scoring the winner last week, she continues to build her minutes back after a hamstring issue. And Bente Jansen, a multiple trophy winner in the Netherlands. Alex Smith found out about her through some of his European contacts, and what a discovery she seems to be. Early days in the season, of course, but that was a pretty special debut moment last week when she cut onto that left boot and just curled it into the top corner for Brisbane's opening goal of the season. So the final message from Stephen Peters. He set the bar high over this early part of the season because he knows the away matches are stacking up in the opening 5 rounds. He said they didn't execute perfectly in round 1. He wants to see his side continue to grow into their style. So this their only home match in the first 5 weeks of the competition. Away last week to Western Sydney, home this week, and then away to Sydney, Canberra and Victory. Vastly experienced Beck Mackey in charge of this one. Vicky Clark and Anastasia Philokaridis assistants. Rebecca Ducot, the 4th official. Alex Smith, he's put a focus on being more pragmatic this season, but he still would have liked a bit more of the ball than what they did have against Melbourne Victory. He said after last season, one of the learnings outside of having to deal with multiple injuries was just the fact that they dropped around 8 to 9 points by his reckoning by just not managing out games. They did that last week in the dying minutes against Melbourne Victory, even after a lightning delay. So they can build on that here this afternoon in Perth. So would you believe? Just the 3rd meeting between these two sides at HBF Park, the first since November 2011. And Perth and Brisbane hunting back-to-back wins to begin the new season. What a tonic that would be to set the foundation in season 18 of the Ninja A-League. And these two sides down the years, absolutely dead level. 10 wins apiece across 24 previous meetings, 4 draws in there. And here at HBF Park, Well, it's been a happy hunting ground for Brisbane, albeit a very, very long time ago. Their most recent meeting, as I mentioned, November 2011, Brisbane won 5-2. And the match before that, December 2008, Brisbane won 5-3. So if we get the kind of entertainment we had in both of those matches, we will have a wonderful night of football at HBF Park. Badawea picks it off here for Perth Glory. Taking on Amy Medwin. Attempts to slide it in behind for Sarah O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue, one of those changes for Stephen Peters this week, coming in for Susan Ponsonkamp this week. This is Badawea. McKenna. And Tova. Finding the captain, Dalton. And Zog. Naomi Chinema made Teresa Polias' team of the week last week. Naomi Chinema with that assured display at centre-back in the 3-1 win over Western Sydney. Only the goalmouth scramble. It was a messy goal they conceded to Ella Buchanan from the set piece. Outside of that, they were very defensively sound, Perth Glory, on the opening night of the season. They also had a thunderstorm to deal with. Their match was delayed by about an hour and 15 minutes against Western Sydney. Brisbane's delayed by 20 at the start, and then in the last minute of regulation time, delayed by about an hour. Sian Fryer back in the Ninja A-League, dropping it off to Medwin, and now Lincoln, one of the new recruits for Brisbane this season, alongside Amy Medwin joining from Western United. Chloe Lincoln saying that she does feel very sorry for her teammates who no longer have a contract in this year's Ninja A-League season as a result of the Green and Black's hibernation. She was one of the lucky ones to earn a new deal. Medwin and Janssen returning it to Medwin, and the Tasmanian and the Dutch midfielder linking up. So exciting to see Bente Janssen, Alex Smith will be over the moon at how she has settled already into this competition. It's a short pre-season, only a month to get going, and then into the campaign. After spending all of her time in her homeland in the Netherlands. Three-time Eredivisie winner. Cup winner as well. Leah Varley now driving forward. Another American recruit in this competition in Miller, looking around the corner for Stevenson. And the flag comes up for offside. I'll tell you what, just Stevenson in that offside position. Tova popping it over the top for Badawea. Sets extremely high standards, as Stephen Peters has said about Roller Badawea. Just relieved a lot of pressure on herself last week. first goal of the season in a first match for Perth Glory. Did have a tough day out against the WA state team. Perth Glory went down in that match by a couple of goals to nil, but no such problems in the opening round. Holler searching for Badawea. Here's the two Americans coming to close proximity in Studer, who plays the 1-2 with her compatriot in Miller. And then the captain, Seidel, getting involved. So Studer coming from Carolina Ascent in the USL. Seidel from Slavia Prague, the American who played in Czechia last year, won the league and cup in Czechia. And then Ashlyn Miller out of the San Diego Wave, who she didn't play a competitive match for. She played a couple of friendlies. Still around that kind of environment. It's going to hold her in good stead for this first season down under. Lincoln launches it back up the ground, but it's going to come back down through Tova. Johnston loves the overlapping run down the left. Studer is going to have to keep a close eye on Grace Johnson as this cross is a little overhit. So both sides just testing the waters early on. Tova just trying to find her range. And you might think back-to-back wins to begin the new season. Usually it's a rare feat for a lot of clubs, but for Perth and Brisbane, it hasn't been. It was only 2 years ago that Perth won their first two to begin the new season. Brisbane did likewise in that season 2 years ago, but it's been the way that they've fallen away at the back end of the season, which has been a concern for them. As Medwin overhits that pass. So pretty even to start on the possession front between these two sides. And that's something that Alex Smith did mention last week against Victory, that he would have liked his side to have more of the ball. They did have a lot of possession last season. And he said they played the best football in the league, but they just need to be more pragmatic in the key moments and grind out some results. So just trying to find the balance between those two styles. So that fade out for Brisbane last year, they were sitting in the top two until round 12, and of course injuries played their part, so important to note that, but they won just one of their final 13. And the season before, Perth, it was a similar tale. They actually won one of their last 13, winless in their last 12. So both these two sides well placed to turn that around this year. This is Jansen and Stevenson. And it's funny because you think about it, in the old A-League women, the W League, competition was only around 12 matches long in the regular season. So both of those two sides would have virtually finished in the top two, had a home semi-final, would have had a red-hot crack at the grand final. So that's the extra element added to this full home and away season. It really adds to the potential for a roller coaster ride. And these internationals get a little bit more time to hit the ground running, hit their groove. We've already seen Jansen, an eye-catching performance in the opening round, but for Perth as well. Holler, feel like a new player this year. Badawea as well. Emma Tova, the Philippines international. Oni Zog as well back, the Nigerian international for her second season in Australia. So much talent across the board in season 18 of the A-League Women's. This is Leah Varley. Just can't link with one of those internationals I spoke about in Ashlyn Miller, who's come from the US Youth International. Uni of Texas was where she played her college football. Stevenson just lost a footing in the key moment there. McKenna. And Sardo. Chinema slipping it through. Tova, some space here between the lines here. Can they utilise it, Perth? McKenna. Tian McKenna. O'Donoghue. And just didn't get any kind of power on the strike. O'Donoghue, who played for Heidelberg in the NPL Victoria Grand Final in their defeat against Box Hill. Actually played against her Glory teammate in Teresa Morrissey, who's out with a back injury at the moment. Should be back by about round 7, Stephen Peters says. So they'll lost stay in goals until then, and she will be replaced at that point when her injury replacement deal ends. You can see Perth preferring the right-hand flank this afternoon. Usually so often we see that left-hand side preferred option with Grace Johnston there. Studer allowed time to run, the American. Stevenson, shaped to shoot, quite the power on it. Looked like more of a measured attempt on goal. This is Sian Fryer, back from her spell in Germany, in VfL Wolfsburg. Didn't work out for her, and back amongst familiar surrounds. Tova ran into a brick wall. It was excellent defensive midfield play there from Alicia Woods. Broke down the attack just as something was building for Perth, and then likewise for Brisbane, just breaks down for them. They're preferring the left-hand side. They were a lot more even to start this one. Roll the batter where you can't quite believe it. Warm afternoon in Perth, humidity low, 24 degrees. It's a beautiful spring afternoon. Currently just after 4 p.m. local time. So the crowd starting to build up ahead of this double-header. Perth taking on the Mariners in the A-League men's coming up after this one. So the kids will be finishing school. Parents out of work early on a Friday maybe and getting down to the football. Beautiful afternoon to take the family out in Perth. There's Chinema, Sardo, and McKenna. Holler. There's calls for support for Gabby Holler. A bit of a lone ranger there, but she managed to ensure Perth keep control of possession. Chinema struggling for options. Johnston and O'Donoghue. This is Dalton. And O'Donoghue got just enough of a touch. And Banaway is not going to have the pace to track this down. Was there a foul, though, on Gabby Holler? That's what Perth players, though, are protesting about here. Varley maybe just leaving a leg in. Stephen Peters. Just asking Sarah O'Donoghue to present herself there. There's a little tug on the shirt. That's a simple free kick for Beck Mackey to blow against O'Donoghue. Seidel, what an impression she's made already, taking the armband. Just her second game for the club. Tova. Casado, and then Zog, launched up by Daloste. Spills for Stevenson. The old school, the shirt tucked in. Quilamu. And Stevenson. Replaced Zara Kruger. In midfield for this one did Kaya Stevenson. Seidel. Bounces back to the American. And that pass, well, she had a number of teammates to aim for. She'll be disappointed with that. Just gifted back to glory. Chinema. Badawea around the corner for Johnston. O'Donoghue. Just a little too much vigour in that challenge. Coming in from behind on Tish Woods. So you can see possession very much even. Passes dead level. Accuracy a little better from the Glory. So 4 goals Perth had in their first game. Of course, 3 scored by them, 5 in the Brisbane victory clash. No chances of note to start this one. Both sides very circumspect. And Scooter pushes on. This looks promising here. Ashlyn Miller delivering low. Cleared away only as far as O'Donoghue. And Miller, Stevenson. Saw Dalton coming from a blind side and tried to slip that pass in behind. Enough Perth players though in front of the ball. Studer and Miller. Good link up down the right. But just a heavy touch from Quilamu at the key moment. They are able to recalibrate here, Brisbane. O'Donoghue. That time it was legal. And now it's Perth Glory with a chance on the counter-attack through Tian McKenna. Holler. Little nutmeg through her compatriot Seidel. Brisbane able to recover. So just a few more chances starting to open up. Some little half chances. Stevenson. There's the option inside in Quilamu, but uses Studer. Medwin. There's an acre of space here. Bente Janssen hasn't been as involved as probably what Brisbane Raw fans would like to start this game. Bente Janssen. Medwin. Taking players on. Amy Medwin, what a run this is. She has Fryer to her left. Quilamu in the middle. A bit of confidence there from Amy Medwin to take on 2 and 3 Perth Glory players. Stephen Peters will want to tighten that up defensively. Just swerved beautifully away from McKenna. Good signing that from Western United. Quilamu drives, deflection. Grace Quilamu with the opening goal in Perth. She made her Matilda's debut midway through the year. And she continues where she left off last season, where she scored 5 goals. She's got a first of the new campaign. And it's 1-0 Brisbane. But it just came off the back of Amy Medwin just opening up the Perth defence down the left. Quilamu takes the strike. It's a horror deflection for Deloste. Comes off the back of Zog. And the keeper getting a touch to it. Could not keep it out. Grace Quilamu with goal number 7 in her Ninja A-League career in just 22 matches. It's not a bad strike rate for the 18-year-old, the teenager. She is a talent. Made her Matilda's debut in July against Panama. And she's inspired to earn more national caps. And she keeps playing like this, she keeps scoring goals in the Ninja A-League, she will most certainly be in the conversation for Joe Montemuro's side, especially leading into the Asian Cup on home soil next year. There's a lot of time for players to get themselves in form. There's another in Sian Fryer. And it is on home soil. And there is still more than enough game time for these players to put themselves under the spotlight. So Deloste. And O'Donoghue. So how did Perth Glory respond now to going behind? And here's a reverse angle from behind the goal of Grace Quilamu's first goal of the season. It's just so exciting to see some of the talent on show again this season in the Ninja A-League. And some of our young stars heading overseas, but this country keeps producing more and more through into this competition. Really acting as the trampoline to the rest of the world. Just got herself into a little pickle there, Woods. And Grace Johnston takes on Studer. She'll have to be careful, Studer. Johnston, very intelligent. Steps back onto the right. Well blocked off by Studer. Appeals for handball, but, well, Beck Mackey was well positioned and the hands looked like they're in a natural position. Batawea, though. What about the turn? What about the shot? Oh, roller Batawea! That is magnificent! 2-in-2 for Perth Glory. But just have a look at the turn here. Look at this. And that was what sold Leah Varley. It was turn and shoot and hit the top corner. It just gets better and better every time you watch it. Well, 11 in 36 in the Ninja A-League, but she's got 2 in 2 for Perth Glory. And Stephen Peters said this week she holds herself to extremely high standards. Sometimes uncompromisingly so, but that's why she holds herself to high standards, because she knows what she can produce. And, well, wasn't that a special moment? At home, in front of the Perth Glory faithful. Rolla Badawea locks this one up. And we've had 4 shots on target in this game, 2 goals. One of that, a heavy deflection, and the other, top bins from Badawea. They've made a habit of scoring at home, Perth. They've scored in their last 8 matches at home. Are they about to go in front? Well, this is an interesting little chat. I wonder whether that's a conversation about this is what I want from the second half. Susan Ponsonkamp and Stephen Peters having a discussion on the sideline. There was Ponsonkamp, who was in the starting side last week. O'Donoghue on the bench, but Peters just changing it up for this round 2 clash. So Brisbane dominating possession of late, and in that period we've had 2 goals. Quilamu, and the response from Badawea. So one of the young Australian talents and one of our most impressive imports. And here's another attempt from distance. Not quite the quality from Tova that we saw from Badawea moments earlier. It would be a way to open her account, though, from that kind of range. The Philippines international. And what's probably even more exciting about this match is we've barely got a look at Bente Janssen. She's been very much a peripheral figure to start here. Here's a strike from Dalton, and that is straight into the breadbasket of Chloe Lincoln. Does have, like all goalkeepers, a blemish in her every now and then, so Dalton just testing out Lincoln. Three attempts from outside the box for Perth Glory thus far. They'll probably like it that way, Brisbane Roar. Badawea's, though, crucially, from inside. Oh, here's pressure. Janssen. It was a good turn away from O'Donoghue, but very nearly. The Dutch national keeping in on her blind side. Varley. Very high up the pitch, the centre back. Will it be a corner? No. She'll have a long run back to her position in the back line. This was Dalton's hit. Look at Gab was the call. That's exactly where Zog went, to Gabby Holler. McKenna. Tian McKenna, who part of a Croatian training camp last season, earlier this year. Had a few Aussies or Aussie-born players taking up that European heritage. We know Deborah Ann Delahard is now playing over in Europe with that one international appearance for Ireland. Varley. Oh, this should be a free kick. And is. You can hear the cry from the crowd. Where's the consistency? Don't really know what Beckmaker could do there. Roll the Badaware just literally grabbing the arm of Varley. Had to be a free kick. A few fouls given away. Didn't receive a booking in the opening round, Perth Glory. Brisbane just the one with Varley going into the referee's notebook last week. Seidel. Jansen bouncing it out to Medwin. This is Fryer. Dazzling footwork from Sean Fryer. This is Quilamu cutting again in from the left. Having a strike which rolls to Lostat. They've got to be careful of that, Perth. Quilamu really liking that approach from the left and really cutting onto that right boot. Holler under the bouncing ball. O'Donoghue. So just past the half-hour mark at HBF Park. First meeting between these two sides at this venue since 2011. There were 8 goals in the first meeting of these two sides here in 2008. There were 7 3 years later in 2011. We've already had 2 in the first half hour. So maybe we're in for a bit of a goal fest as Woods' delivery is sprayed wide of the intended target. Should say Miller really looking for Sean Fryer, who is making a beeline there in the 6-yard box. Now it's Johnston over the top for Badaware, bearing down on Chloe Lincoln. Johnston just to find Holler. This is O'Donoghue. Just turned herself into the pressure. Able to retrieve. A deflected pass. Fell for Medwin. That'll sting. Medwin and McKenna. Badaware. Able to angle the pass to McKenna. Here's a strike. Oh my goodness, that was so close to the top corner. Well, we saw Tova have a strike moments ago. That one was well high and wide. Well, she's getting the radar locked on now, the Philippines international. That would have been some way to open your account. Well, you can see the evidence here is mounting up for Perth Glory. A number of strikes from outside the box. You just wonder here, is that a lack of pressure from potentially the midfield of Brisbane getting back that they've identified, or is it potentially Chloe Lincoln as well, just testing her out from distance? It's not really going to test out Lincoln if you put it in the top corner, though, as we saw from Badaware and very nearly Tova there. I feel like it could be more of the fact that Brisbane are just not putting pressure on the ball. Those players outside the box as Badaware concedes another free kick. Oh, that is just gifted back to Perth Glory. Holler from distance. Oh, it would have been a goal had she got it on target. Well, there's another strike from outside the box, that time for a very different reason. Brisbane just gifting the ball, and Lincoln was up near the top of the 18-yard box. She would have been stranded had Holler put that one on the frame of the goal. So after opening the scoring, all of a sudden, Brisbane just finding the going a little tough. And now the goal scorer, Badaware, looking to turn provider. Varley Spilled. Oh, that's a handball. And that is an unfortunate one for Roller Batawea. She just could not wrestle control of the football. It was just bobbling all over the place, spinning up awkwardly. So more possession for Brisbane, but at the moment, it's all Perth when it comes to the chances. And more so from outside the box, but still good chances. Good looks at goal. Oh, is there a push there from Batawea? Well, she does have to be a little careful here, Roller Batawea. That's another free kick given away. That's about 3 in the last 5 minutes or so. No, it's not in a promising attacking position for Brisbane, but repeated fouls can earn the ire of the referee. Studer. This is better from Brisbane. Quilamu. Ashlyn Miller. Great defensive work. Stood her ground, did Naomi Chinema. Studer. Oh, almost rolled all the way through there for Sian Fryer. She was not anticipating that to happen. Maybe if she had would have had a chance on goal. Miller. And Seidel. Studer. Again, it's Fryer, the intended target, but Del Oste well positioned. Batawea. That time it was legal. The battle with Seidel. And O'Donoghue tried to continue the momentum of the pass, but in the end, just slowed it up. This time it's Jansen with a poor giveaway. Struggling to get into the game at the moment. There's Bente Jansen. Getting a few more touches though here. Lincoln. Batawea into the shade. Just spilling out onto this near side of HBF Park. Grace Quilamu opened the scoring for Brisbane. A 7th Ninja A-League goal. Roller Batawea cancelling that one out just moments later. And that's where we sit at the moment. As the shadow of half-time begins to cast itself across this one, just 5 or so minutes away. Regulation time. Johnston did well to hold off Studer, but Miller's involvement just made it all a bit much. And now it's Studer chipping it out towards Fryer. Has had some half moments as Sian Fryer. Has looked very dangerous when those have been presented. This is one part of playing in Australia, the likes of Jansen, Studer, Seidel, have to adapt to. Ashlyn Miller is the 5-hour flight across to Perth for a match in the same country. Just take a little bit of getting used to. Of course, it's their only trip this season, but still. So we see that free kick. It was more of a tangle than anything. Look at that. 9 fouls. Perth have conceded. Brisbane, none. Is there another one? Well, Badawea, is she going to go into the book here? I think that's the 4th foul she's given away in this first half. And Beck Mackey is going to have a conversation. And I believe that is the topic of conversation, the repeated fouls from Badawea. You can see studs right on the ankle there, or on the foot at least. Probably a little fortunate, Badawea, if not for that challenge, but the few before as well. We know she's an all-action, all-energy player. Will have to watch herself. So I counted 4. Stats Boffins have got 6 fouls for Badawea. I cannot believe that the referee hasn't spoken to her earlier. 6 fouls, no card. It's quite a number. And we're not even at half time. What a stunning goal, though, she scored to make it 2 goals in her first 2 for Perth Glory. Johnston. Well, Brisbane players just not on the same wavelength. They both ran away from it. And then Tova. Oh, Houdini-like. How'd she work her way out of that impossible scenario? Now delivers across to Holler. Oh, it would have been a goal and a half, and it would have been an embarrassing blunder for Brisbane, because literally they had a chance to break. 2 players ran away from the ball. Then Tova turned out of a cul-de-sac and very nearly set up a chance for Gabby Holler. Well, it was a great chance. And Gabby Holler will be thinking, I should have at least put it on target and tested out Lincoln. So 90 seconds of regulation remaining in this first half. Is there a sting in the tail here for Perth or Brisbane? 2 sides looking for back-to-back wins to begin the new season. They would go to the top of the Ninja A-League after 2 rounds. Of course, 4 more matches to be played this round, but as it stands on the preliminary table, they would be top of the pops, 6 points from a possible 6. As Dalton's pass centrally. Split the 2 strikers. Grace Johnston versus Studer, who's kept it fairly well contained. That delivery off Woods, and then nodded away by Fryer. Is there another strike from outside the box here? Tova is a little far out. It does have a cannon of a right boot. We've already seen that in the first half. McKenna. And Varley is just dropping a little awkwardly on her. Now it's Dalton. That's a scruffy shot, which may be the final strike of this first half. Well, hasn't it been an intriguing one? 2 sides looking to go back to back. Jansen has been a peripheral figure. Chloe Lincoln could do nothing about the striker role, no matter where. You could even say the same for Delos at the other end. The deflection just made it an impossible task. to save the strike from Quilamu. Holler, there's space if they can utilise it here, Perth. Are they good enough to create one final chance? O'Donoghue. Holler. And it just wouldn't stay down for Gabby Holler. There's another strike from outside the box. They have finished this first half with a flurry. Perth Glory really wrestled control of the momentum. Brisbane have barely fired a shot probably over the last 15-20 minutes. It has been all Glory. But importantly for Brisbane, no damage done on the scoreboard. Still 1-1. Free kick. Well, now going an additional minute here. There's only 1 minute of stoppage time. And we didn't really have any stoppages in stoppage time, so strange while we are continuing into a third minute now. Sense this will probably be it. Seidel. And that is half-time at HBF Park, the first Ninja A-League game here since 2011. And we have had a couple of goals in the first half. Grace Quilamu with the opener, took a heavy deflection past Alyssa Deloste before Roller Badawea scored a stunner for Perth. Half-time, Perth Glory 1, Brisbane Roar 1. And here are the highlights from the first half at HBF Park. And just after Amy Medwin almost split the Perth Glory defence, Grace Quilamu found some space, unleashed a shot off the back of Zog, took it past Deloste, who could only get fingertips to it. And that was a 1-0 lead for Brisbane Roar. Quilamu's 7th goal in the competition. A shake of the head from Quilamu. You know she'll score better goals than that, but you know what? You got to take every one of those. And then just a poor giveaway. Good pressure from Perth. And look at Badawea. Bang. The turn and the hit. It was a thing of beauty. Just watch this. Turn with the right foot. Strike with the left. And it is certainly one of the contenders for goal of the season, that kind of strike from Badawea. That is just spectacular to watch. And we'll love some more of those in the second half. So here are the halftime match stats. Possession pretty much dead level. Perth with more strikes on goal and a higher XG. And they just need to make the most of those chances in the second half. Can Brisbane try and produce something more? We'll find out. Halftime show is coming up next. It's the beginning of a brand new journey. Storylines about to be etched, new rivalries about to be written, and plenty of drama. It's why we all love the dub. Delivery decent off the left boot, and Edwards. Problems here. The first of the new season.
And so the build-up to always hotly anticipated, but it is simply the foot of the mountain today, which they must climb. And it is driven to the near post and sliding in for the opening goal. Nice leave, and the 1-2 with Keane. A really nicely worked 1-2 with Holly McNamara.
Here's an interception, cutting inside, a shot. What a way to introduce yourself to the competition. Policina thought about shooting, may shoot now, Policina!
Sunday afternoon in Gosford from Polytech Stadium as the Central Coast Mariners, defending champions, mount their title defence. Gomez receives a gift back, and this time she's right on target. What a way to start their campaign for 2025-2026.
That's a great ball into Michelle Heyman, her first sight of goal. The all-time goal scorer in this competition. It's her first goal of the campaign. Clear side on goal, and there could be the winner. India Breyer has never scored in this competition. And what a way to do it, what a way to start this season.
Well, how good was the opening round of the Ninja A-League? And didn't they save the best until last? India Breyer with the first Ninja A-League goal, and the Newcastle Jets winning in the opening round. No, I'm just kidding. They saved the best until round 2 because Wellington Phoenix are in action, and Bev Priestman and her Wellington side are taking on Canberra tomorrow, and we caught up with her this week.
A place I started my career, I got my hands dirty, did a lot of different roles, but I think it really set me up for what I went on to do, you know, away from here. And my wife is a Kiwi, I've got a little boy as well, so I think family was a big factor in that. New Zealand's always felt like home to me. Whenever I've came here, I fell in love with the country, the people, the culture, but I think probably family was a big part of that. And then I think the Phoenix and the ambition that they have shown from an early conversation really hooked me in there to get back into the game. For us, I think we want to create a whole load of firsts this year. You know, this team's never made the playoffs. We really want to make a push. And I think take away the outcome, we want to create a moment where New Zealand stops. You know, we create that moment where everybody knows where they were when that happened. And that's a real, it sits inside the overall goal of, you know, we want to go win. I mean, we're in the wrong job if we don't. So for us, it's to set a real first for this club, and hopefully we can go and do that.
Well, it is so exciting to have Bev Priestman coaching in the Ninja A-League this season. And look at that record. Semi-finalist with England as an assistant at the 2019 World Cup in France. And then what about the gold medal with Canada at the 2020 Olympic Games? That stands out like a beacon. And no doubt she's going to bring some success to Wellington Phoenix. So we cannot wait to see her side in action against Canberra tomorrow. Don't forget, a huge weekend of the Ninja A-League. So that match, the Capital Clash, Canberra and Wellington, taking place tomorrow at 2 p.m. Melbourne City and the Mariners in a rematch of the semi-final. Adelaide and Sydney, big match for Adelaide as they look to bounce back. And we finish with Western Sydney and Melbourne Victory to round us all out on Sunday afternoon. You can catch all the matches live on Paramount Plus. And let's have a look back at the first half highlights. And just one thing we picked up in that first half is Perth Glory really focused on shooting from distance. And you wonder whether this is just something that evolved throughout the match or whether it was a tactic they brought into this game. That was Tova just pushing that strike wide of goal. This came about obviously on the fly, that moment there for Holler, because Brisbane gave it away cheaply. But there has been a concerted effort in general play to have a strike from range. Maybe just a lack of pressure from Brisbane on the ball there. And also maybe just thinking that maybe they can catch Chloe Lincoln with a guard down slightly. So we'll keep an eye out for that in the second half. We're going to take a quick break. Second half is next here in the Ninja A-League. Gets us underway in the second half. Goals aplenty last week. 2 in the first half here, so expecting some more entertainment in the second 45 in the West. Conditions are going to get cooler. Just going to feel a little bit better for the players. And just confirmation there that Holler replaced by Ponsong Cam. So just wonder whether Stephen Peters just taking a precautionary approach with Holler. We know that she missed the back end of last season with those blood clots. And last week, she was replaced by O'Donoghue in the second half. So didn't see out the full match, but this one an earlier departure from the contest. Just confirmation, Brisbane, so no changes for Alex Smith at half-time. Playing that 3/5 at the back. Seidel, Varley, Medwin is the centre 3. Fryer on the left, Studer on the right. Woods and Stevenson as those holding midfielders. Then Miller and Janssen a little higher up. Kuilamu up the top. But they're just struggling for a target, Alex Smith's team up the top there. Just wonder whether he will go to Tamika Yallop at some point. Kuilamu playing more as that false 9. As much of a target as Badawea or Holler. Now, has Badawea conceded another free kick here? Numbers keep counting on Badawea. If that does go down against her, that'd be number 7, I reckon. Here it is. This little battle with Varley. Yeah, I think that's number 7 for Roller. 12 fouls. And by our count, that's 7 for Badawea. So Brisbane through Stevenson. And this is Fry. You cannot give her a moment's space down that left edge. Stevenson has looked dynamic. Kai Stevenson, first start back from an ACL injury, which came off the bench last week. Just a heavy touch there. You can see why Alex Smith promoted her into that midfield role. Good speed off the mark. So far, it's Brisbane who are trying to wrestle back the momentum in this match, because it was Perth really calling the shots after Badawea scored the equaliser. Chinema pokes this over the top. The run of Ponsong Cam. So it looks as though it is Badawea centrally, with Holler leaving the game. Yeah, she has certainly been in the thick of things, Roller Badawea, both with and without the ball. McKenna wanting to find an option, did eventually. And the cross towards Badawea, Varley with the defensive involvement. So this is going to be a big challenge for the Brisbane backline, especially Varley versus Badawea. Seidel as well. Neat flick on, isn't it? That's classy from Janssen. Kuilamu. Into a roadblock in the form of Zog. Ooh, there was a coming together there. O'Donoghue and Varley. Play moves on with Stevenson. and slips it in behind. Fryer, well, I thought she was going to catch up with it there. Just as she looked to be making some inroads on the ball, she just turned off the gas.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Johnston has to be aware of her blind side, gives it away. Janssen calmly to Quilamu. Link with a teammate, apologises for that. Varley may return it with interest though, but has it taken off her toes by Badawea. O'Donoghue. And that's well in. That's excellent defending from Tish Woods. Has made some critical tackles in this match. Now it's McKenna versus Fryer. Fryer burns away from McKenna, hangs it up. Janssen! She's got 2 in 2, the Dutch woman. What a start to life at the Brisbane Roar. And she's been very, very quiet to start this one, but that is the sign of a quality player. When required, she steps up, and it's 2-1 Brisbane. And it all comes from the work of Fryer. Brisbane Roar fans are salivating at this combination. Fryer and Janssen, 2 competitive matches, or not even 2 competitive matches in the same side. Just think about how this competition is going to be concerned about that combination flourishing in 25-26. So Perth Glory, for the second time tonight, are going to have to fight back from behind. Isn't it fascinating? They had all the running before the break. They didn't make the most of their chances. And Brisbane Roar take the advantage in the second half. Just have a look at this. Ball could have gone out of play. So talking, well, no, I think that's good. I think that's good. No issues. No issues. No controversy there. And that is outstanding from our many cameras positioned around HBF Park tonight. Excellent camera work to pick that up. Here's Fryer. Danger. Janssen. Janssen! Oh, has it got there? Yes, it has. Bente Janssen. 2 goals in 2 minutes. And Brisbane lead 3-1.
Get the ball in your hands.
Well, we are going to put the spotlight on this one, but it stands. There's no VAR in the Ninja A-League. Does the whole ball cross the line? You would argue that it has there, based on that footage. A goal in the 52nd, a goal in the 54th. And Brisbane have snatched this match away from Perth Glory. what about Jansen's work tonight? And the match has turned around in an instant. Literally just talking about that then. And now Perth Glory. It's not quite a mountain to climb, but it's certainly a hill at this stage. 2 goals, dangerous scoreline. They've got the quality to fight back. And it was Fryer again who was very, very dangerous against a tiring defence, you would say. Grace Johnson, they'll need more where this came from Grace Johnson. But again, Alicia Woods coming across and just getting out the fire blanket. And Gabby Holler off the field, substituted out of the game at half-time. You would think has to be some kind of precaution, you would think, surely, based on what she produced last week. 2 goals. And now, without their most prolific striker this season, with Badawea. Jansen. Distribution from Bente Jansen. She's ripping Glory apart, and Fryer should have made it 4-1. It had to be 4-1. That would have very nearly been the nail in the coffin for Glory. It would have been 3 goals in 6 minutes for Brisbane Roar. And Jansen was almost unnoticeable in the first half, and that was a lot to do with the fact Brisbane barely had any attacking opportunity. Well, in the second half, doesn't cream rise to the top. Fryer has played a key part in the 2 goals in the second half, and then Jansen, who scored both goals, then very nearly returned the favour. Tova, deflection, it's going to be a corner. Once again, Perth, there was space there in the box. There was Badawea to the left, I believe O'Donoghue to the right, and Tova went for the strike from distance. And it was McKenna. Look at McKenna. McKenna is absolutely unmarked on the right edge of the box. So the first corner of the game comes in the 59th minute. Dalton, well-timed cross, and this should be another corner. And if you've just joined us, well, you've just missed a flurry of activity in this one. 2 goals from Bente Jansen to make it 3-1 Brisbane. Badawea scored in the first half for Perth after Quilamu opened the scoring for Brisbane. Glory trying to fight back. Dalton, another good corner. Oh, Lincoln has spilled it. Deflection off the line. And now it's Dalton. Will it sit for the Perth captain? Will this be another corner? Bring on some more drama. There's another set piece here for Perth. Well, Lincoln, she does have this in her. And look at that from Badawea. Off the line from Seidel. Dalton has been putting her on a dime again here. Lincoln has to punch. Chinema back into the mix, this time taken by Lincoln. Right on the hour mark. Next goal absolutely critical in this one. So 9 shots to 3 in the first half in favour of Perth Glory. This is where it sits now. Look at that. Brisbane with 3 in the second, Perth with 3 in the second, and that's only in the first 15 minutes. So shots raining in. Brisbane have scored 3 goals from 4 shots on target. And that's Perth, their tactic here. Maybe a tactic. Have to find out if Stephen Peters shooting from outside the box. And the XG just favouring Brisbane. I'm surprised there, the XG of Bente Janssen's header wasn't higher. It was from close range. Second goal, she scored more difficult proposition. Oh, look at Bente Janssen trying to weave a way through. Bit of fortune now. Spills for Sian Fryer. McKenna, such tough challenge she's got on her hands in this second half. O'Donoghue strengthened the challenge with Medwin. Now Tova. And Chinema spies McKenna in space, so Fryer has to get on her bike. Ponsong Cam. And O'Donoghue plays the 1-2 with Susan Ponsong Cam. Has Badawea in the middle, corner on the way. Excellent work defensively. And who is it again? It's Alicia Woods, just getting back and putting herself in the frame for Brisbane Roar. She has had an excellent game, the defensive midfielder. Just look at the key involvements in those kind of moments. So we had no corners after 58 minutes. We've had 4 in 4 minutes. Dalton. Up near Tova. It comes for McKenna. And Varley and Janssen link up. Ilamu. And Woods just angles it out over the sideline. So Tamika Yallop is walking to the sideline. And it's Kaya Stevenson, the player who will be withdrawn. So how does Alex Smith reshuffle things here as the captain's on the park? Takes the armband straight away. Does she go straight into that midfield position? It looks like it. Last week she was playing up top. And it was about 15 minutes off the bench, so some more game time this week as she continues that injury recovery. Alex Smith said just making sure he builds her up slowly from that hamstring complaint. And this is a big test for Brisbane in the second half, because Alex Smith, one of the improvements that he really wanted to hone in on this season is trying to finish off matches. Stephen Peters, Perth Glory coach, he wanted to really focus on getting points away from home. Had a strong record at home last year, but well, first home match of the season, not going to script. Brisbane, yeah, that real focus on being a bit more pragmatic when they're in front. And this will be a corner for Brisbane, and that's why Alex Smith this year, he recruited experience in every line. That's how he explained it to me. Seidel and Studer at the back, Janssen in midfield. He's already got the likes of Tamika Yallop as an international. So Janssen. Delivery is deep and off the head of Medwin. see the Jansen, that near post target. Got some good options there from the set pieces. First corner of the game. So you can see 4. Is there a 5th? Yes, there is. So all 4 Brisbane outfield players and their backup goalkeeper, Talia Franco, all going to warm up. There's possession. It's not quite as much we saw from Brisbane last year, but that has been a focus. Maybe they won't have as much possession this year, as they place pragmatism ahead of possession. Lamu. Jansen in the middle. So too Miller. They won't mind receiving a throw. So Kruger, an option in midfield. Myers, Kinsella, Piazza. Piazza would make a Brisbane debut if she comes off the bench. So O'Donoghue just launches it long. Well, Badaway is not going to track that down. They need something from Roller Badaway, something of high quality like we saw in the first half. Can her teammates conjure up some kind of quality? Set her up to really set this match for the home side. Got some options on the bench. They've got Bronte True, Ella Lincoln, Charlie Wainwright, Misha Anderson, more of a defensive option, but Bronte True's certainly one that Stephen Peters can look for. Knows her well from coaching her at MacArthur in the NPL New South Wales. Has got lots of speed. Scored 4 goals last season with Western Sydney. You would think she is the likely option. Maybe for an O'Donoghue. Lincoln. Comes back with interest over the head of Chloe Lincoln. Oh my goodness. Saved by the post from an absolutely embarrassing blunder. Well, she can have a wry smile now, but she certainly was not feeling that way a few seconds ago. It was a trampoline bounce. I'm being told that Perth are readying a 3-pronged substitution here. So they are going all out. Stephen Peters. They are going to throw everything at Brisbane Roar here at the back end as they look to track down this 2-goal deficit. Remember, they scored 3 last week in that win over Western Sydney. And remember, HBF Park in the A-League Women's, when they've taken on Brisbane Roar, 7 goals between them in 2011 and 8 goals between these two sides in 2008. So we've already got 4 here tonight. We're certainly on target for another high-scoring thriller. Brisbane have won both of those previous meetings. Woods out by McKenna. Fryer has just turned it on when she's had to in this second half. That's what the great players do. They just identify moments in matches and they lift. And Fryer has done that in the second half. And That's just asked too much of Medwin. Damage has been done. So here come the changes. So Lincoln is coming on for O'Donoghue. He scored one A-League women's goal. So Sardo also replaced. I wonder whether that may have something to do with that ankle issue she picked up at training this week. And then Charlie Wainwright on for Tova, which is a surprise because probably their most dangerous attacking threat, Bronte True, remains on the bench. So Stephen Peters just holding fire on that for maybe the final 15 minutes. Tamika Yallop asking for the free kick, is going to get it. Well, here it was. Didn't look like a whole lot in that. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at the distance back. That has to be more than 10 metres, doesn't it? Surely. That's not an optical illusion, is it? Surely that's more than... That looks like about 20 metres. It could be 25. If you look at the grass cuttings, that's probably about 10 metres. That's remarkable. Have you seen a wall? Have you seen a wall that far back in A-League's history? Try and find a wall that far back. Well, it wasn't a neighbour's fence, that was a fence down the road. I hope Nick Stoll and Daniel Georgievski were watching that. They can put that on the A-League's warm-up. Try and find a wall further back than that. Dub Zone will be all over it, I'm sure. I know Teo's watching somewhere. He'll be noting it down. Here's Anderson poking it over the top. And just too much on it. Well, they're going to have to produce more than that, Perth Glory. Just feels like the air has gone out of them in this second half because it was they who were running downhill at the back end of the first half. So pretty even when it comes to possession throughout this match, but it was Perth who mounted the strongest case before half-time. But when you don't take your chances, albeit from long range, but they were still good chances. Tova just missing the mark. You can be punished, and well, Brisbane, they've got quality. Johnston. Good strength from Varley. It's going to be a Perth throw, though. Much to the bemusement of Brisbane players. Johnston. Away up. A little nutmeg there on Medwin. Look at that close ball control. Roll the bat away. Well, that has to be a free kick. How is it not a yellow card? That is a curious one. I know Brisbane haven't given away many fouls, but it shouldn't matter in this instant. This has to be a cynical one from Medwin. The position on the park. Surely. I know there's another teammate coming across, but Beck Mackey decides to keep the cards in the pocket. No yellow cards in this match. Free kick though for Perth. It's another very well set wall here. Fair distance back is Sian Fryer. Perth play it short. Hong Cam. And the cross, a good one. Oh, well gobbled up. Very well gobbled up by Lincoln, because she was moving backwards with the flight of the ball. Not easy to time that. Perth's set-piece delivery, though, has been on point. There's no doubt about that. Fryer. Rilamu has Yallop making a beeline for the middle of the 18-yard box, and that's just smart play. Gee, that's smart's beyond a years, as we just see that set-piece. Lincoln made that look easy, and that's the thing about Chloe Lincoln. She's such a talented goalkeeper, but then she also has moments like we have seen in the second half, that just give the opposition some hope. Meanwhile, at the other end, Quilamu wins that corner. Just smart play from an 18-year-old. Very good match awareness, knowing you're up by 2, we win a corner, sucks another couple of minutes off the clock. And Woods' delivery. Loste has to punch. Medwin tracks it down. Pressure coming from Lincoln. And can they use the speed here of Ella Lincoln, who's in behind? Studer coming from behind and retrieves it, the American, and then wins the free kick, which is even better. Scored a first A-League women's goal and only A-League women's goal to this point, Lincoln, against Newcastle last year. You can see there she was onside, she was inside her own half. But then the cavalry arrived in the form of Studer and Yallop. Rilamu's caught one in the head there. And down she goes, so don't think it hit her too hard. She's got the thumbs up. They'll undertake the concussion testing on her. Just got it there in the mouth. Scored the first goal this afternoon. The youngest of 5 siblings. She's got Fijian and Romanian heritage, but has already played for the Matildas. They've already capped her. Was in a friendly against Panama. And Bente Janssen stepped up in crucial moments in their second half to lead Brisbane into this 3-1 lead. So a goal scorer last week, 2 this week, 3 in a first 2. Bente Janssen. Bronte True will come on now for Roller Batawea. Maybe just getting a little fatigued. The goal scorer for Perth Glory. Just asking Alex Smith this week, how did you recruit her? He said it is tough recruitment in the A-League Women's, especially with not quite the finances of the men's operation. And he said he really has to try and pick the eyes out of all of his contacts across Europe and America. And he was given a tip-off about Bente Janssen, and I tell you what, he said he saw a play, and he said, yes, we certainly need to sign her. And what an impact she has made for his side. At just 26 years of age, the Dutch Youth International, 3 Eredivisie titles with Twente. Also spent the last couple of years with Ajax. He's won the Dutch Cup as well. And another foul. Soaked up by the Dutch woman. And still no yellow cards. I think everyone's for not giving out soft yellow cards, but many would question why there hasn't been one thus far. So Perth Glory, they're going to have to do it without their key attacking players in Holler and Badawea, both on the bench now. Yallop's delivery, Chinamar, and this will be another corner. Dalton couldn't keep it from crossing the... This match part of a double header in the A-Leagues. Raw and the Mariners coming up in the men's clash straight after this one. Looks as though Brisbane are just readying a change. It's only been Yallop that's been injected into the match thus far. And here's the set piece put on the spot. And Perth happy to concede another corner. Seidel from this near side, and that's Woods going over to take on the far side. So we went 58 minutes without a corner. Now we've had 8 in 28. And that delivery, I should say 8 in 24. There's Guilamu. And a shank strike on goal from Seidel. And here is the second change for Brisbane Roar. So Ashland Miller is going to be replaced by Myers. Kira Myers, who was born in Minnesota, moved to Melbourne 4 years ago. Plays her NPL, or played her NPL with Southern United. And made her A-League women's debut with Melbourne City in November 2023 before limited opportunities last year, just the 3 appearances off the bench for City, and made the move to Brisbane Roar. Has been a junior Matilda in the camps for the young Matildas. So a talent, the 18-year-old, and has enough time to try and make an imprint on this one late on. Anderson, Honsong Cam, McKenna. Back to Honsong Cam. Slips it through for Dalton. Well, this is as good as it's been for Perth in the second half. Can they find a goal? Well, it was a cross-come shot. Just couldn't find a target in the box. Dalton was making a good forward run. So too was Ella Lincoln. But they need more of that, Perth Glory. Bronte True, the first major involvement in this match off the bench. And there are Brisbane players down everywhere at the moment. Varley was down, Studer went down, now Lincoln's having a seat. Jansen having a conversation with Alex Smith. I think Studer's going to need the pickle juice. Varley's back on her feet. Well, is this the game management? Smiles there on the Brisbane bench. Is this the game management that Alex Smith is looking for his side to produce? It's going to frustrate that man, Stephen Peters. Perth Glory coaches looking to the fourth official, Rebecca Ducoen, asking the question, is this going to be added on? Because here it is. Lincoln's down. Then Studer goes down. She said, yeah, just go down. Varley had a seat. I think this was orchestrated from Brisbane. It was pretty clear. It was, how about we all have a seat? We'll take some time off the clock. Because there was no pickle juice in sight. And this is where the referee has to be clued onto this from Brisbane. Tamika Yallop. And now, turn from Ilamu. Because Brisbane are going to push the envelope, and that's totally within their rights to try and suck up as much time as they can on the road here in Perth with a 3-1 lead. But the referee has to be the arbitrator of what's fair and what isn't. And it felt like what we saw there probably wasn't. Johnston. Return from Wainwright. Chinema. Well, they'll be frustrated with this Perth because they know they've got their next 3 matches away from home. And here's another, well, this is another Brisbane player going down, and this is getting a bit ridiculous now. The referee needs to take control of these moments because literally 2 minutes ago, 3 Brisbane players hit the deck with cramp, and now Varley's gone down for the second time in 2 minutes, cramping up. And it's not an injury, it's a fitness issue. So this is time that should not be wasted, and it's a constant debate in football. Cramp, the game should not be stopped for cramp. And this is the right decision that Varley's being forced to come to the sideline. They have got Kinsella on the bench as defensive reinforcement. But as a spectacle, the last 3 minutes have basically been a non-event because Brisbane players have been sitting on the ground. And the Perth fans are frustrated as they get a free kick here. So Perth with this free kick. Dalton dinking over the top. This is Hong Song Camp. Now I'm told we've got 5 minutes of stoppage time. I'm sure that's going to be debated by Perth Glory. Probably could have been 5 minutes for the last 5 minutes of game time. And Leah Varley, my understanding is she is going to be replaced here, cramping up. So it will be Ava Piazza who is going to make her debut for Brisbane Roar. She began her A-League women's career with Canberra in 2023. Did spend some time at Newcastle but didn't play for them. And then has been via Portugal and then Armenia last season before returning to the Ninja A-League. So Varley replaced. And Brisbane, they are executing this game plan and what they've looked to grow from last season to a T in terms of seeing out matches, because they have stymied any kind of momentum for Perth in these final minutes. And maybe they could just find the killer blow here. Here's Kira Myers, heavy touch. And Zog pounced on it. Johnston, so just the 5 additional minutes. Going to play that pass. Studer. McKenna around the corner for Bronte True. Medwin has done well just to shuffle her towards the byline. And it broke down for Perth Glory. So back to the drawing board for Perth Glory. Sydney FC away from home. Sydney take on Adelaide this weekend. Brisbane Roar will host Western Sydney, so massive opportunity. We know Western Sydney, not one of the heavyweights by any stretch, so Brisbane, they've got a massive, massive chance to make it 3 wins from 3, provided they see this out. And then they've got Newcastle in round 4. You'd say the same about Newcastle. And then Adelaide in round 5, who have started the season with a disappointing display on the Central Coast. So Brisbane have a chance really to put themselves in the frame at the start of this season. But maybe there's a late chance here for Perth Glory. Lincoln has the goal and a mercy off the post and in. Perth Glory are not dead yet. Ella Lincoln's got a second Nick Geray lead goal. And the 21-year-old Perth junior has left Alex Smith feeling a little blue late on. Well, she did so well to hold her nerve. Did Ella Lincoln. Off the post. Fortune favours the brave. And Ella Lincoln was certainly that with that run in behind. And there is still time here for Perth. And there will be debate, no doubt, at the end of this match whether Perth should have more time to go after this result. As it's plonked over the top again here. Ella Lincoln, she's in behind potentially. It was Studer who closed up the ground. Well, don't go anywhere. We'll have all the reaction post this match. We'll be asking the questions of both camps about some controversial moments late on in this one. Brisbane trying to hang on for dear life. This was where things slipped away from them last season. Late on in matches. 8 or 9 points Alex Smith felt his side left out there last season. It's not going to happen again, is it? True. True. It should have been an equaliser for Zog. Stephen Peters cannot believe it. What a chance for the centre-back. All she had to do was glide it in at the back post and it would have been 3-3. Now Lincoln is taking forever with this goal kick. She's moved it from one side to the other. So surely we've got at least 2 more minutes, at least, for Perth Glory to try and snatch a point. Studer's header. Bit of aerial ping pong for the moment. Bente Janssen. Can she seal it for Brisbane? Well, I don't think she's going to. She's running straight for the corner, but she's given it away. Zog. The captain, Dalton. And just not controlled by Hon Sung Kam. So it'll be a Brisbane throw. Referee says, let's go. How much time will Beck Mackey add on here? This is going to be a Brisbane free kick. So that's the 5 minutes of additional time. expired, you would think we've got at least a minute, probably more. And it was probably a little low, the 5 minutes of additional time for what we probably should have had. So it will be a Brisbane throw right down in the corner. Well, Perth have said foul throw and the referee agrees. What's doing there? Trying to waste time. It's a foul throw. That's a collector's item. And now Yallop has it taken off her toes. The experience to Mika Yallop. Can Perth move it quickly? McKenna. The speed of True is all the way on the other side of the ground now, though. Ponsonkamp. Still going Susan Ponsonkamp, and it dribbles into the arms of Lincoln. And it's Brisbane who hang on. And despite the late scare, 2 wins from 2, they have roared out of the blocks in season 18 of the A-League Women's. And they win for the first time in Perth since December 2017. That season they went on and won the premiership. It was a bit of late drama, but it's Brisbane who win it full time in the West. Perth Glory 2, Brisbane Roar 3. And let's have a look back at the goals from a dramatic 90 minutes of football. And it was Brisbane who opened the scoring. Grace Quilamu with a deflected strike. And she was up and about, the 18-year-old. She was excited before just shaking her head a little bit and saying, yeah, a bit of fortune there.